Buccaneers, Panthers. Bucs win in Carolina 26-23. They tie things up in the division race with the Atlanta Falcons with the win. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I'm going to sound a lot more positive about the Carolina Panthers than I am going to about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this one. Bucs top 5 graded players.
Tied for first, Trevor.
Top 5 graded players for the Buccaneers. We'll get into it. Mike Evans at the very top of the list with an 88.4. Offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs an 86.1. Running back Bucky Irving with an 83.0. Guard Cody Mock with a 79.2. Edge rusher Anthony Nelson with a 77.6, including a huge forced fumble to basically win them the game. Quarterback Baker Mayfield in this one, a 39.2 overall grade. On Carolina's side of things, guard Damian Lewis, a 90.0. Cornerback Shaw Smith-Wade with an 89.7, got an interception in this one. Wide receiver Adam Thielen, a hell of a game, 72.5. Offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu with a 71.6, and then cornerback J.C. Horn, a 69.0. Bryce Young in this one, 79.2. Savage told the story, Dalton.
Why so many bad vibes, Trevor? You're tied for first. You got to win against.
They should have lost this game.
Against a relative.
They should have lost this game.
Why lose?
Baker played poor enough to lose this game.
Why lose when you can win?
Well, sure, obviously. Baker played poor enough to lose this game. Todd Bowles' defense remains Swiss cheese, even with guys getting back healthy. I mean, they get torched every single week. This was not an exception. Bryce had 4 big-time throws, 5 big-time throws in this game. I mean, Bryce played extremely well in this game. And outside of an Adam Thielen touchdown that wasn't a touchdown, which probably should have been a touchdown, and then Chuba Hubbard fumbling the ball when they were in very obvious field goal range to hit a chip shot to win the game in overtime, Tampa should not have gotten out of this with a win. Now, all that to say, a win is a win is a win. And I will take another division title for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not saying that I won't. But when you look at this team moving forward and you talk about any sort of a playoff run at all whatsoever, I mean, they are not going in the right direction. They're getting healthier, but the team's not really getting better. They're completely volatile on offense. Bucky Irving's obviously a stud for this team, and I don't know where they would be without him. But Baker was so bad in this game, as evidenced by his 39.4 PFF passing grade. All sorts of turnovers. In fact, I'll just start there. Seth told the story, Bucs turnovers versus Carolina's clean game. And this is sort of what I had before Chuba Hubbard's fumble, which is the only turnover that they had in this game, which sucks for Chuba because he's been having a fantastic season, and that fumble is painful. I mean, I saw a tweet where one of the Carolina beat reporters took a picture from the press box of the field completely empty. Everyone is gone, and Chuba Hubbard's still just sitting on the bench in his pads, pissed that he fumbled the football. And it was one of those plays where it's like, he wasn't even being reckless with the football. He wasn't being LaShawn McCoy. He wasn't holding that thing out there. He had it tucked, and it just so happened he's getting rolled up to tackle, so there's a little bit of extra time for the defense to get their claw in there and rip the football out, and that's just what Anthony Nelson did. Now, I don't want to take anything away from the Bucs and obviously forcing that fumble. It's a great play by them, but it's one of those where you look on the other side of things, 2 interceptions, 3 turnover-worthy plays, 2 fumbles in this game from the Bucs, and both of the fumbles weren't lost. So you had 2 interceptions, you had 3 turnover-worthy plays, and you had 2 extra fumbles that could have very well gone to the other team that just happened to not, and the 1 turnover that Carolina has kills them. So that's why I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, Bucs, dub, easy, no question about it.
Well, no, certainly.
Should have lost this game. They should have lost this game. They didn't. They better be thankful for it. They're tied now with the Falcons, but it just does not seem to be getting better from 2 fronts. One, Baker's consistency, which is, I talked about Kyler being a roller coaster.
Baker is what he is.
Baker's that you better be this damn tall to ride the roller coaster, because it's thrilling, and when it goes good, I've said this before, not a player in the NFL that's more fun to root for than Baker Mayfield. And that's the damn truth. It's so much fun. But with him, you have to live with the good and the bad. I talked about the most turnover-worthy plays in the NFL being Kirk Cousins. Second most, Baker Mayfield.
I think he was in the top 3 or 4 of that last year, too.
So you just have to deal with the up and down. And you could deal with the up and down of Baker Mayfield when you got a defense that's playing well. Bucs defense hadn't played well in 6 weeks. I don't have all the games right in front of me to remember exact performances, but it feels like this defense has been a shell of what it has been even over the last couple of years, even with guys getting healthy. So a little bit of a rant there. They win the game. again, a win is a win. Carolina played better than they did. Outside of maybe Bucky, Irving, and Mike Evans.
All right, I don't want to stress you out there. Okay, I'll give you the positive vibe here.
Okay.
First of all,
Go ahead.
gotta love some of the names on that top 5 for the Bucs. Mike Evans was fantastic.
True.
Future Hall of Famer.
True.
Tristan Wirfs was fantastic.
As expected.
Maybe a future Hall of Famer. Cody Mauch, that was actually his highest graded game of his career.
Love
Big
that.
time.
Love
And you
that.
mentioned Bucky Irving. And Rashad White had a pretty good day, too.
Shaw did have a good game.
Listen, these Bucs running backs had 224 rushing yards, 82.3 rushing grade between them, 8 forced missed tackles, 10 first downs, 6 explosives. You look at it, I know Chuba's day was tough with the fumble, but it was also tough on Carolina's side. Their backs only had 61 yards and no explosive runs. The difference, and what at least can keep the Bucs from being so volatile, right? Because we've seen games in the past where Baker plays like this and they lose by 30, right? Whereas, okay, he could turn around and hand the ball off. And this offensive line is getting better. Obviously, Wirfs is in. Gedeke's healthy now. Cody Mauch's playing better. Graham Barton's grinding through as a rookie right at center.
It's also the worst defensive line in the NFL.
A win's a win.
Oh, I understand that.
Look, I can remember 2 years ago, that last year with Tom Brady, where they were completely incapable of running the ball. And last year, and last year they were still bottom 10. They could,
bad.
in the last 2 years, if they played a game like this with the rest of the team, they would have lost by 30. Absolutely, you're right. But we got something else to go to. You want something fun? On either side of the ball, most impressive. You know Bucky Irving's the highest graded rookie in football?
Wouldn't shock me.
At any position.
Wouldn't shock me.
Number 1.
Wow.
This is how good he's been. He is, one of just 4 backs with an 80-plus rushing and receiving grade. I believe it's Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Bucky Irving.
King.
That's how good he's been. And Rashad White, in more of the secondary role, was really good in this game. The Bucs won this game eventually. A little bit of luck involved, sure. Because the third team I'll say it with, they ran the living hell out of the football. And the fact that they can go to this when the last 2 years they absolutely could not. 2 years ago they were historically bad. Last year they were, I think, bottom 10 somewhere in there. Now they can really run the ball. And if Baker is good part of the roller coaster, Baker, you got a balanced offense with a good developing young offensive line that can really play. I think they're still a threat. And I think, honestly, the way the two teams are playing, they look like they're going to win this division.
I also think that Tampa's going to win this division.
To get away with this win is still big. Look, it can be the Panthers, but you beat the Panthers by the same margin the Chiefs did.
Bucs could have beat the Chiefs, too.
Maybe should have.
Same plane.
NFL's a game of close games, moments, inches, all that stuff. Now you're tied for first place. I think you look at it and you get away with Baker's worst game of the season. You got 5 games to go win a division. Let it rip.
My most impressive in this game, because I knew you were probably going to do Bucky Irving. One of us had to do Bucky Irving. I've talked about him a million times. I didn't want to have to talk about him again. I was going to let somebody else talk about him again. Bryce, though, 26 for 46 in this game, 298 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, but 4 big-time throws. Also a 75.2 passing grade under pressure in this game. Bryce looks good, folks. This is a great Bryce Young stretch that we have been on. This is the best, certainly 3 games that he has put together. What's 4?
4 games now.
This is the best 4 games that he has put together, obviously, of his NFL career. And it feels like he is just getting more and more comfortable and more confident. There are times when I wish that he would navigate the pocket a little bit better. And when I say that, I mean be willing to step up in the pocket as opposed to bailing very far out of the pocket. But it's also what he did at Alabama, so he's very comfortable doing that. So obviously you still see some good plays from him. I'm going to be honest. I saw Mina Kimes say this on Twitter, and I couldn't agree more. This game was best case scenario for the Carolina Panthers. I know it's a massive gut punch to lose it the way that they did with Chuba Hubbard fumbling the football, and as a fan, you innately just want your team to win the football game. Bryce looks awesome, and you lost for a better draft pick. Win.
Boy, how good would Mason Graham look in a Panther uniform?
Oh, yeah. That's the dream for them.
Yeah.
That's the dream for them.
That'd be fun.
Maybe number 1 overall, even.
That'd be fun, too. Imagine that, a D-tackle going number 1.
Hasn't happened since 1994, believe.
That hasn't happened since I was born then.
Wow.
August of 94. Wow.
Yeah, would have happened a couple months prior.
Yeah, look at that.
It's crazy.
I've never seen it.
You've never
I
been
didn't
around.
even get a chance.
I haven't been around for it.
I didn't get a chance.
Wow. We really should change it. We really should change that for you. Anything else?
Just had a most disappointing Josie Jewell, tough day. 7 negative grades in run defense, kind of the victim. He was the one who missed the tackle on the last run that set up the game-winning field goal, 4 catches, 64 yards in coverage. Just his worst game of the season. Good player. He's had other good ones, but it was a tough one in this, and somebody had to be the victim of the Bucs and their apparently terrific running back tandem.
Also, shout out Chase McLaughlin, making some clutch field goals. Want to make sure I shouted that out as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below, so if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.